Shit.
Internet.
I should go to youtube.com/something.
Internet.
Bamfcast is the name of the show.
Bamfcast. Oh, your name's actually cut off. That's weird. Maybe we are actually wider when there's only two of us.
Oh,
Remember when there was only two of us?
I remember.
No, I mean, yeah. I just think like the screen capture is it's probably going more edge to edge when there's
Right.
2 versus 3. Because yeah, I guess our windows would have to get smaller to fit a third and fourth one in there. It's just math. Look at that. We're on YouTube's.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
My phone let me know that. Your mic is blowing out slightly.
I was up on it.
Okay. Well,
Is that better?
that is better.
Okay, sorry.
God, why are you shitty? Twitter.
Okay,
Okay.
so I got that, and I'm gonna pop this chat out. Chat popped. Close YouTube entirely because fuck it.
Whoa. Easy. Oh, by the way, the tvOS 14 did not fix the 4K YouTube. That is still on YouTube to update their app. So,
It also broke the one app my wife uses every day. So
what's that? BritBox?
BritBox.
Wow. Well, I mean, the good thing is, like, as soon as I updated my phone, like, half my apps were like, here you go, there's an update now. Now, they still haven't, like, shown up in the widgets and shit, but... Because, like, I use dark sky for my weather, and I would like a dark sky widget because it's better than the built-in one.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also it's also platform agnostic, so it gets data from, like, everywhere.
Like it's got data?
Yes. Yeah, he's usually sitting, like, over there. Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry. This reverse thing is messing with me.
Sure. All right. So I've tweeted.
I assure you I know where data sits on the Enterprise.
I assure you.
I assure you.
Sits.
I assure you that
Listen.
Look, don't send your angry tweets. I know where data sits. Wesley Crusher used to sit right here. Right over here.
Nope.
Huh?
Nope.
Yeah, he did. When he was piloting, he was right there.
Oh, over there. Yeah, sure.
Am I backwards? I mean, I'm looking at the live stream, and I would think.
No, you're right. I'm thinking like first season before he did shit. He sat back there next to.
Oh yeah, when he just had his little like come sit next to the Captain Wesley.
Yeah.
Do you like movies about gladiators?
Right.
Yeah.
Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley. Oh.
Oy. With the stuff and the things.
And with the feedback and everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
My mic is spooky. It goes away.
Oh, spooky mic. That's much better than Magic Mike. Spooky Mike. Coming this Halloween. If you know what I mean.
I would watch that. Would totally watch that.
Boo, a Magic Mike Halloween.
Yes, boo indeed. Where's that?
I wonder if they would have Jack Mangling on it.
I'm sorry.
Would they have Joe Mangling on it again?
Yeah.
Mangalinano. Yeah, the Mangalese.
Manga Manana.
Nicki Minaj. And then I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of those kind of podcasts where we're just all like, what do we do? I don't know.
I don't know.
We can talk about things, I guess.
I got a lot of things.
It's like extra live.
It is like
this is what you're missing, people who aren't patrons. It's just the two of us.
Yep.
Yeah. Except without the live part, the video.
We never do this.
No, we don't. We take our clothes off and talk about a movie. Oh, you don't?
No, I
thought we had agreed we were going to do that when we went remote.
No. If If that was discussed, it was not discussed with me.
I thought it was implied that the
No.
same rules as in person would carry over
No. Also,
transcendentally.
that doesn't happen either. No. He's funning.
I'm not anymore because
Aw.
social distancing and
Right.
look at
No
all
more.
these clothes I'm wearing.
Look at all these clothes Harlow's wearing.
Look at all these clothes I am wearing.
How many can you count, boys and girls?
One. Oh man. Oh man, indeed.
Yep.
So what else? Before we start this thing, like, what else do you got? I'm just curious if like anything I've seen. That,
I'm gonna say no, because
Oh.
most of everything I watched was on the app called Shudder.
Ooh.
But I watched a television show, a movie in common with you, and some other things. All right, so I'm gonna talk about the movie we have, both of us. I'm going to talk about the TV show, sort of, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other movies.
Okay.
How you like that?
I like it a lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like it a lot. Okay, well, let's light candles and stuff.
Sure.
Why do I look over? Oh, that's because the thing is off center.
Whoa.
Just moving myself.
Ray Shields.
Yeah. Whoa!
Yeah, spooky.
Yellow alert, red alert, all alerts.
Uh-huh.
Amber alert. No.
no.
Silver alert.
Silver alert is
yeah.
accurate.
I don't know where I am, so silver alert.
Yes.
Oh, good. Does the clear all notifications thing no longer work on the watch? It's just a thing at the top now. Okay. They used to do the long press, like, just get rid of all these notifications. I don't care.
Right. I should record.
Technology changed, and I'm angry because, as we've established, silver alert. I got the latest update on my jitterbug, and I can't find my grandkids.
Well, that's a terrible update then. They stole your grandkids. Oh no.
I don't know. I just don't know where they are.
How terrible for you.
I don't know why I'm Grandpa Al Pacino. It's just, where are my grandkids?
Pants.
Yeah. My grandkids are in short pants. All right.
You know what? Hang on.
Huh? Uh-oh. You're not sure you're recording in the right capacity?
Yeah.
This is important.
I know.
Yeah.
I was
check
not.
twice and record once.
I've corrected my mistake.
Yeah. A Canadian lumberjack taught me that.
What?
I don't know.
We are good now.
Eh.
Should back off this mic.
I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
And we're okay.
We're fine.
Boy,
we are content you can consume on the internet.
Yeah, I should turn my gain down.
Yep, and turn the tide.
A little of that. How's that? Still peaking.
My interest.
Wow.
I mean, I will say you are fine as far as the level of which you're coming through the Zoom.
Okay.
I don't know about your recording levels.
How do I sound now?
Still okay.
Still good?
We are pretty much equal.
Okay.
Our peaks are peaking right about the same place.
That is
and
fabulous.
And our plosives are pleasant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're satisfactory.
All right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
All right. Whenever you're ready, let's light a candle.
Okay.
Say a prayer.
All right. Welcome to Bamfcast Extra, such as it is. No, fuck. You've confused me with your presence, your lone presence, Chuck. Fuck. And I don't even do that for Bamfcast
You don't even
Extra.
intro the extra.
Shush! You're confusing me with your presence, Chuck. I mean by that all the things that you give me, like your eternal friendship.
Oh, my gifts.
And your smile and your mirth. I enjoy your mirth and your girth.
I would hope you would.
Yeah, I do, yeah. All right, welcome to the Bamfcast Variety Hour.
Yeah,
woo, such as it
Variety
is.
Hour. Yeah.
Episode 21?
Yes.
Yes, with an asterisk.
Drink.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's just me, Harlow.
And me, Chuck.
Yeah. It's a Bamfcast Extra in prime time. So hey, all you people, you can get more of this, though possibly better and more focused by becoming a patron at patreon.com/bmfcast. Boom! Front-loaded it. Because we don't know what's going on. This is a crazy episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when the assistant editors would take over comics and crazy shit would happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to go on David Letterman later. He's going to come out of retirement just so that he can interview us.
Yes.
It's going to be great, but stay tuned. That'll be soon.
It's big bushy beard.
Yes. It's a great big bushy beard.
Big bushy beard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's not happening. So don't stay tuned because
No.
we don't know Dave.
No, we don't.
I mean, real fans call him Dave. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we did watch a movie in common. So I guess, and it leads into the most current movie, perhaps. Maybe I don't know what else you watched if they're all current, but we'll start there, I guess, and then I'll just shut up for the rest of the episode, except for fun jokes. But this was one of those things where like I had kind of been meaning to watch it since it dropped on Netflix, and then of course disappeared into the ether that is Netflix's catalog if it's not more than 2 weeks old. But they made a sequel to The Babysitter. The sequel is called Killer Queen. But I had not seen the first one, and neither had you, and so we both watched that in common. I have watched the sequel. You have not yet, and we may determine whether or not you will by talking about the first one, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is it's a McG movie, which I feel like at some point became the like he became one of those guys, even though like other than his name just being kind of douchey, like 90s leftover, video director
stop
bullshit.
Calling yourself that.
Right. That's the other than like that, where it's just like, well, okay, now I'm identified with this 90s music video nomenclature I took up way back then, and I haven't dropped it. It's sort of like I don't get that reaction. I mean, because he's not some great auteur, but he's not like Brett Ratner has that reputation and makes shitty movies. They're like they're barely serviceable movies. At least McG does things that are sometimes clever, or at least doing something semi-interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if the deal is that McG has said some things in interviews that just make him sound like a douche, but he hasn't done anything cancelable or anything like that. I don't think. I just think it's a dude bro mentality that should have left his body a decade ago and has yet to do so.
Sure.
But yeah, so these are two movies directed by McG.
Mm-hmm. I seem to remember he produced some TV show I quite enjoyed, and now it's escaping me what it was. Like, I don't know. I probably should have Googled him before we started this, but it doesn't matter. We're talking about these movies. We're not talking about the rest of what he's done. I'm just saying, like, he's always been one of those, like, I feel like you say his name and it's like he's immediately in the company of, like, M. Night Shyamalan and Brett Ratner and all these people where it's like, nah, like, there's a good chance you're getting into something kind of shitty when you watch one of their movies.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I read a couple of reviews of this first movie where people were just like, man, fuck McG. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Wasn't
one of his last movies like didn't he do that like Tower Heist or whatever thing where it was like, hey, Eddie Murphy might kind of be back doing what you want him to do, maybe.
No, that was Brett Ratner.
That was Brett Ratner? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
So there's a little bit of interchangeability on their generic Hollywood movies, I would say. They both have the capacity to, like, look, it is a guy who will most likely make budget and make something that we can put out in theaters.
Sure.
Like, kind of guy. But sometimes I feel like McG tries a little bit. Like, whether you like it or not, like, the Charlie's Angels movies are stylish.
There's something.
Yeah, I mean, if you like that style, great. If you don't, okay. I'm just saying they're at least doing something beyond like point to camera and they're sexy ladies. They're totally like music video esque, and
Right.
through the whole thing. So good or bad, that's what they are. And these kind of are. The second one much more so, which I'll get to soon. But we got to talk about the first one first. It's basically the story of a shy and like overly timid kid. Like he's kind of afraid of everything. I think he's supposed to be like 12, maybe 13.
He's 12.
He's 12. Okay, so
Yeah.
do they specifically say it? But, and like he still has a babysitter. And surprise, his babysitter is Samara Weaving, and surprise, she's hot. And it's just like he's like gulp, like kind of thing. Just like I have a hot babysitter, but I'm afraid of everything. So that's just like your basic setup. And uh, he has like one friend who's like this girl from across the street, and she's just like, oh, babysitters just like invite their boyfriends over and have sex like when you go to bed, right? So like you should totally like wake up one night she's over and see what's going on.
Yep.
And that's basically the start of the movie. And then he does not see what he thinks he's going to see. She has a bunch of people over, and it's basically a satanic ritual. Like they invite this other nerdy kid over and basically like play spin the bottle or truth or dare or whatever. And it's just like
It's both. It's weird.
Yeah.
They spin the bottle to determine who is going to take the truth or dare.
Right. Yeah. So. But yeah, he just basically ends up getting murdered right away. Like that's the crux of like this kid is like, oh my god, like a murder in my house, and then like can't get anybody to believe him, basically.
Right.
Like,
but also they need his blood because he's an innocent, and he was supposed to be drugged, and he's not, and is a witness, so they have to murder him.
yeah, and,
it's from there on. It's just a demented diehard, basically.
Yeah.
The movie makes Home Alone references, which is fine, but this is way more than that.
Well, I mean, it is kind of Home Alone only in that it's a kid. It's just Die Hard's easier to say it's closer to because it's also violent. Like extremely violent. Like ludicrous, like
super
Ash versus the Evil Dead levels of just dumb buckets of blood. And stuff.
Yes.
And exploding heads and things. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to necessarily give away like the whole rest of the movie. It's just like that's the basic setup, and what you think. Like,
well, okay, so I have several thoughts.
Okay.
So the movie has a bit of a tonal problem in that it's all over the place, from being like super duper sincere to just this kind of. There's a thing in horror movies that I don't like, which is just kind of gleeful violence. Like it's like, haha, this is hilarious because it's so absurd. I don't dislike it. I just don't need it. And so this movie does that a few times, which it doesn't ruin the film or anything like that. It's just there are so many tonal shifts throughout this. It's kind of hard to hang on to something like what is this movie? Right. Basically, is you're going to say that a lot during the film is what is this movie?
I mean,
if you're watching it with someone, it's like, what the fuck is this?
I don't think it's like on the same quality level, so don't get me wrong. I just like the only thing you can say, like if you were doing that water cooler pitch of like, why would I watch this movie? I would say it's a horror movie in the vein of like Evil Dead kind of stuff, where it's like, yeah, it's a horror movie, but it's also kind of silly and kind of an adventure action movie too, in a way, because it's like it's mostly about this kid trying to survive the night, sort of thing, and get someone to believe him / help him or whatever. Right. So,
I appreciate. I'm of mixed feelings about this next thing I'm going to talk about, which is that I appreciate smart movies with references. However, I think we are at a point where we can't keep referencing the same 70s and 80s things because it doesn't make sense in this world for any of these people to recognize these things. Like the Billy Jack movies are a plot point in this. There's no chance in hell a 12-year-old kid is watching the Billy Jack movies. I like the Billy Jack movies. I don't watch the Billy Jack movies. It's just, and he's like catching quotes from Godfather 2. Like she quotes Godfather 2 at one point while he's eavesdropping, and he goes, Godfather 2, I love her. And it's like, what on earth, 12-year-old? Like, I get it, you're weird, but also you're 12 in 2017. It's you're not.
I mean, I think the thing is like this kind of is I'm not defending the movie because that's a valid point about the possible target audience, but I think the target audience really is people our age. Like, I mean, I think that's like this is kind of like it's a cast of younger people, but I don't think it's really like that's its intended audience because I mean, by that token, not to spoil the joke, but she's doing the spin the bottle thing, kisses somebody, and then does the I know it was you, Fredo. Doesn't do the you broke my heart or whatever, but he catches that, and because like the person's like, what was that? Like Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
like which is a pretty good joke as far as like a young person getting the wrong, the same name but the wrong
It
movie.
is.
Like I'm just
And
saying, it's fairly clever as far as like, yeah, that would be totally what someone that age might
sure,
think.
but it's also might be the most modern reference in the film, also aside from maybe Mad Men, which comes up as a plot point.
Sure, but I mean, like,
Um,
I think that's just like that's what I think it's to the point of like Samara Weaving supposed to be this. I wouldn't say the manic pixie dream girl, but like that, like, oh, she's like, she looks like she's from San Diego, but like has this brain like like she just looks like a beach girl, but like actually has this brain where she knows like Billy
right,
Jack movies and
right,
Godfather and shit. It's like, and I feel like part of that like was supposed to be implied that she'd been making the kid cooler through her babysitting. Like maybe the kid got these references because of her. Like, oh, and maybe you want to check out this Billy Jack movie. I don't know. I'm just saying,
well,
like,
it's weird too for this kid being like super awkward and everything. He is a stone cold killer, like in terms of like flirting with her. Like he is dead on, like in every scenario, just like I'm dishing it out the same as you're giving it to me. Like we are like people in love, and we are fucking going for it, and references and everything. And it's like, how can you be nervous in any aspect of your life when you were this cool with her?
mm-hmm.
Um, so
I mean, I could only speak from my own personal experience. When I was probably about 10, I think I still had a babysitter sometimes. Like, it
yeah,
depended on the scenario. Like, if it was like, you know, mom's going to be away for 2 hours, it was like, fine, you can sit by yourself. And, but if it was like going to be a long time, it was like, all right, babysitter's coming over. And like the girl who babysat me at the time was probably like 15 or 16. I think she literally went on to become an NFL cheerleader. So I'm painting a picture of like, she was very gorgeous. And like, I was just at the age of like, hey, girls are not icky anymore, like, and
right.
so like, but I think it was like, she'd been my babysitter for a couple of years, and I think there was like there's some sort of inherited like there's something different about like the girls you were like chasing around the schoolyard like, yeah, cooties, whatever thing, to like, oh my god, they're suddenly hot in high school. Like you get nervous around them, but I think there was something about like, here's this girl that like before I gave a shit, it was hot the entire time, was like in my house in a familiar place. And then like now all of a sudden I'm like, oh wait, actually she's gorgeous. And it's like you there's like a little bit of a layer of like familiarity of like, it doesn't seem as scary or something, like, just a little bit. Like I've been saying like I was hitting on her at like 10. I'm just saying like all of a sudden I was like if she'd approached me in like high school, middle school or whatever, I'd be like, blah, 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 blah. No, but like already being my babysitter, like, oh well, we have a familiarity, I'm not scared to talk to you or whatever.
Yeah. So I was on a roller coaster with this movie. I was like, okay, this is great. Okay, I don't like this. Okay, this is awesome again. And it kind of went back and forth for a while. I kind of got on board with it. And then there's the thing that he does to end the movie. And I just about came out of my chair and was just like, this is the best thing ever. This movie rules. I don't care about any of the qualms that have happened before. The thing he has done to solve this problem is fucking amazing. I don't care. It's so dumb and so glorious, and everything about the way they execute it is so good.
Just the dumb setup too, like
Yes.
just to get there, like all of the things that were dropped along the way to get there, and it's like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised by how much I think. Okay, first of all, the kid is so good in this. He is such a good. He was cast really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is super good in that role. It was a little hard for me to buy it at first because he basically looks like baby Zac Efron, and I was like, "There's no way this kid is getting picked on. This kid is, this kid's fucking hot." I mean,
Well,
like
it's my Haley Steinfeld argument. It's just like,
Yeah.
no, like,
Right.
in what universe is she the ugly girl at school?
Yeah, like the kid they go and get for their sacrifice. I'm like, yeah, that kid's a fucking dork.
Sure.
That's a weird thing. But like this kid is like, oh, he's got glasses. He's not hot.
It's what's funny is like, because the sequel's a couple years later, he actually kind of looks like the kid they sacrifice Like he grew up kind of gangly. Like he didn't
Oh,
like
okay.
like he could probably Zac Efron out if he goes and works out for 6 hours a day like Zac Efron. But I'm just saying like I'm just saying like in growing a couple years, it's like oh shit that's yeah. I don't know if they
Yeah.
were like going for that and casting it like, oh, let's try to find someone who's maybe going to look like an older version of him just to like have
Yeah.
this like, yeah, it's you. Like, I don't know.
The weirdest thing about this to me is that it just got dumped on Netflix and then no one spoke of it again. Like I don't think I knew of this movie's existence until you told me about it. I knew there was a sequel to it,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't really click with me that this thing was a 2017 movie directed by McGee and should have played in theaters. It is better than a dumped on Netflix kind of thing. It's fine. Like movies on Netflix are fine. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like this is a better one of these than a lot of the ones of these that have come out in theaters.
Oh yeah, I mean like,
I think this is a lot of fun, and I think seeing with an audience may have been a lot of fun. Also,
sure. I mean it's not on the same level of quality, but I think it could have gotten close to the same hype as like the Happy Death Day movies. If
that's how I felt throughout
yeah.
this whole thing was that this is very Happy Death Day ish in that it is a genre movie that is smarter than well, it's smarter than it thinks it is, but also it's smarter than a lot of the other movies that are trying to do the same thing.
I want to say this is one of those like bad thumbnail situations when it was new on Netflix where I not knowing anything about it, I want to say the thumbnail was just like I got the like Good Boys vibe or something where it was like, oh, look, hot cheerleader babysitter and like
Yeah.
like there's going to be those kind of hijinks. I didn't get like from the thumbnail I was like I didn't get that. It was like, oh, it's actually like a murder horror thing, like craziness, like
that may have been part of my thing too, because it does the first like 10 minutes or so does kind of give you that Good Boys kind of vibe to it. It's like honestly, like if I didn't know what this was, I wouldn't have known what I was watching for like 20 minutes. I would have been like, what the fuck is this? Like the twist is good enough if you don't know anything about it.
Sure.
And where it goes from there is great. I will say that they have an inordinate, an abnormal amount of spiders living under their house.
Yeah,
Tarantulas, actually, like wherever they live in the world.
Unless that was like some super artificial, heavily fertilized. Like, I mean, I believe, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think tarantulas are like, aren't they like kind of deserty spiders? Like,
That's what I thought.
I thought they were like you might get them in like Arizona, Nevada. Sorry, but yeah, I thought they were like that New Mexico kind of area. I didn't think they would be somewhere that looked like that house should have been. But I mean, you also go somewhere like Phoenix, and there's no reason people should have grass growing on their lawn, and they do. So,
yep.
Yeah. Like there's like no reason grass should be growing there except for a lot of pumped in water and fertilizer. Yeah. But anyway,
but I liked it. I didn't love it, but I came around on it at the end and was like, okay, movie, good job.
I'm going to be very curious what you think of the sequel. I mean, I assume you actually are going to watch the sequel since you liked it. Okay.
I would have gotten to it today, but today just got away from me.
No, that's fine. Because I'm not trying to misalign your expectations or whatever, but the only thing I can possibly think to this is like nowhere near the craziness level on either of these cases, but apparently I'm going to have bad analogies for movies tonight. If the first one was Crank in that like, oh, this is an interesting concept, this is wacky, okay, that was fine and not my favorite, but it's enjoyable. The second one is Crank 2, where it's like, yeah, might have gone too far. like I didn't dislike the second one, but like it goes a little too. I think McGee has a problem with sequels because it's the Charlie's Angels Full Throttle thing where it's just like I actually like the first one. The second one is like no, just immediately I am not on board with anything you're doing this time for some reason. Okay. I don't know why it worked the first time. Maybe the presence of Sam Rockwell and stuff helped, but like
right.
The second one I was just like that started up in the theater and I was just like no, I am not on board with any of this for some reason this time. And I'm not saying I wasn't that way about Babysitter Killer Queen. I'm just like there are scenes where it's like, oh come on, like please don't do this. Like just don't do weird things on the screen. Don't do the Neville Dean Taylor thing. Like just don't go a little too crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it's weird because I have love for movies and love for directors that have done things like this, but it's like okay, that movie did it, never again. Like, like that was clever once, maybe twice, but now it's in 2020. No, like, yeah, I can't. Fine, I'll just spoil it because it's also doesn't mean any fucking thing to the movie. It just happens, and it's like, it's not even like you've entered some level of hype other than the movie trying to go like get hype with like the dumbest way artificially to do it. There's like I think it's a girl on girl fight, not that it really matters, but two girls I think start fighting, and it's like it actually pops up names and energy bars like a fighting game at some point, and it was just like no. like no, like there's just not any reason for this to be happening. I'm fine with your weird little interstitial titles and things like that,
Yeah.
possibly breaking the reality of the movie, but like things like that, it's just like there's no in-world reason for this to happening, because like the things I'm referencing, so I will clarify my references. I am a fan of Danny Boyle, and I will defend The Island to my dying day. The Leonardo DiCaprio thing with the bad trailer that everybody laughed at because he was just that fucking guy from the Titanic movie at that time. Everybody was like, "Fuck Leonardo DiCaprio, that pretty boy. He can eat
No,
a dick."
not the island.
Or no, not The Island. Fuck, you're right. It's not The Island. That's the Ewan McGregor thing.
Yeah.
To the beach. The beach.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but no. So like, that was that time period of like he'd been in like Romeo and Juliet and Titanic, and everybody was on that Brad Pitt like "fuck you, pretty boy," and then like 2 years later it's like shit, he's good. But that's actually a great movie, and but like there's a point in the movie where he just fucking loses his mind and I think is high on drugs and becomes a video game. But it's like it has in movie reasons for it to be in that state at that time. Right. Like he is clarified by these island dwelling people to be obsessed with video games and all this, and I think the book goes into much more detail about just how video game obsessed he was. But that makes sense. And of course Scott Pilgrim, video games creeping all over the screen on that, but again, it's contextually accurate. There's no reason in Babysitter 2 to have video game health bars come up for anything. Like, but then there's jokes that just fucking land. Like, there's really good stuff, and there's a really dumb personal level joke that I can't wait for you to watch, just because like you will know it the second it happens. You'll be like, what the fuck, did I just hear that right? Because I had to do the same thing. I was like, back up. I know I didn't just hear that. Yes, I did.
Okay.
But it's just an ongoing joke that would have no bearing, just a contextual, personalized joke. It seemed like somebody stuck in this movie. But yeah. But yeah, it's fine. I mean, its weirdest flaws are that it's just like it's trying a little too hard. Like, I like the way Happy Death Day 2 switches up. Like that's a genre switch in a sequel type of thing that I'm totally okay with, and like I think that could keep that movie fresh. And like a lot of people don't like the sudden tonal shift in the John Wick movies when it becomes the bigger thing. Like I'm okay with getting bigger or different in your sequels. This is just like has a lot of stylistic choices where I'm like, why? And also like, I mean, at first I was like, wait, the entire cast from the first movie's back? like, how does that work? But they do, and it does, sort of. And the other weirdest thing about it is, as I mentioned when we were talking about the first one, his little one friend girl who lives across the street is now a couple years older in this movie, and it's just like, hey, look, she has breasts for like the entire movie. And it's just like, all right, if I'm checking my math, she's still supposed to be like 15, right? Like, I mean, I know the actress isn't, but I'm just saying, like on the screen, you're like,
sure.
I just watched this movie. Now I'm watching this movie, and it's like, please put your breasts away, please. Yeah. Phrases I don't say often, but yeah, like in the context of watching one movie back to back, I was like,
in the context of children, it's always a good.
Yeah, I'm just like, movie, no.
Yeah.
No movie. But yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's a dip in quality in my book from the first one for sure, but still its own weird thing. I'm just curious if you're going to be on board with it still. Like,
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will warn you because I'm saying, unfortunately, in this time, and I'm not trying to go down that road, but I believe you have not watched the movie The Invisible Man, because its central theme is about gaslighting. Like everyone's like, here's something that's clearly happening. We are seeing all the evidence, and then yet somebody goes to like check on it. And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, and that's a central plot to this one, to the sequel. It's like, basically,
Well,
basically nobody believes the things happened in the first movie. Like
oh, okay.
nobody. Like it's just like, no, kid, what the fuck? Like you
I
need
was
to
gonna
be.
say the first one tried to do that for half a scene where the kid goes back into his house and it's like tidied up somehow, and he's incredulous as to how that would have happened, and I'm also incredulous as to how that would have happened.
Sure,
But
sure.
uh,
Yeah, but I mean, like that's pretty much what this entire movie's about. Is like nobody believes that he experienced any of these things. None of the things in the first one happened, and then, like I said, as a rational person, you're like, yeah, but what? Like nobody went, hey, where's your babysitter? Like,
yeah.
we've been hiring her for some time, and she's just straight up disappeared. Like, huh? Like we're not concerned about this, and there's a car in our living room. Yeah. Sorry, but yeah,
So if I will watch the second Babysitter movie for next week, if you could watch Rim of the World, which is the Netflix movie he made in between those,
okay.
I would be interested in your thoughts on that, because that is also a movie where it's like, okay, you're kind of pushing it, but this is also charming, and that's the kids are at summer camp and aliens invade.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so it's an interesting thing. I would be interested in your thoughts on it. You've watched two McG movies, so might as well go for the
Well, like I said,
trifecta.
now I have to go look because I'm like, if I'm going to talk about this guy, I need to know what other thing he did recently. I was like, oh, that's you, really? Okay, that's pretty good. Like,
Yeah. But he's got a lot of producing credits, so
yeah. Just looking, I thought maybe he like was involved in some TV show, like directing a couple episodes, but maybe he was just a producer. Fuck, I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
no, doesn't matter.
It's not hopping out at me. That's as to what it was. Like I said, I mean, I know he was like an executive producer on Chuck, which I like that show, but it wasn't that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. I thought maybe he like did something like directed an episode of like Umbrella Academy or something weird where it was like, oh shit, like that's actually got some style to it that doesn't suck or something. Just like, but it's not hopping off his IMDb credits at me. So
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. I'm just saying, unless you tell me otherwise from a human being standpoint, I'm just saying from a filmmaker standpoint, I don't really count him as one of those like I write off everything he's done sort of guys. Just
No, I think maybe he burned a lot of bridges with that Terminator movie, because it was just like, this movie fucking sucks, dude. But apparently that was taken away from him, because there are a person on Twitter out there clamoring for the McG cut of
oh sure, yes.
for Terminator Salvation.
Wow,
But
if there is a cause to be rallied behind, I guess.
yeah. All right, so let me pivot from that to something similar. I think I watched slash rewatched the Cube trilogy.
Okay.
Uh, the first Cube movie was something I saw on video when it came out, and I was like a huge champion of that movie. That was the movie I was foisting on people.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, you should watch Cube. Cube is dope.
Yeah. It was one of those things like Primer or whatever. It was just like, oh, nobody's seen this. I can tell you to watch this weird thing.
Yeah. It's super interesting. It doesn't have any fluff or bullshit in it. It is just, here's the story and go. And it's interesting to watch people try to figure it out. The Cube stuff. It has dated a bit. It's got some of that late 90s tude in it where everyone is just at each other's throats. Either they mean it or they're being sarcastic about it, but it's just constant, just, I think we should go this way. Well, I think you should go fuck yourself. It's like, stop, just fucking listen, just calm down. So that's kind of a weak link in it, but I still think it's fascinating. I still think it's great for a movie that looks like it cost maybe $12. It is a hell of a thing. So I revisited that after 20 years or so and was pleasantly surprised at how much it held up. I had never seen the two sequels.
Okay.
So I watched Cube 2, Hypercube.
The cube that just can't sit down.
Calm down,
Yeah.
Cube.
Like the first one was a sugar cube. The next one's like a cocaine cube.
The second one has ideas. Like the second one was like, okay, how do we make this bigger and crazier? And I get that. It doesn't necessarily pull them all off convincingly, but I have to give it all the credit in the world for having just crazy goddamn ideas. Like it's just, we go through this door and now all of a sudden gravity's backwards and this room time is slow. And it's like, this is some cool shit. It's not the best executed cool shit.
It is not.
But I thought it was an entertaining watch. It's just not as good as Cube, and it maybe could have been better.
I would agree with that.
So, a lot of people fucking hate Cube 2. Like people were just like, man, they ruined this shit, and it's like,
I mean, I remember it being like a big drop off because doesn't it also have like a lot of that real bad era CG in it too? Like a lot of it.
Yes, it does. Although some of it is actually strangely good.
Okay.
Like there are some shots in it that are so low res, it's actually interesting. But yeah, some of it is just god awful. But yeah, it's not as good as Cube. It's better than its reputation. Cube Zero. Fuck off.
Really? I like Cube Zero. I'm surprised by that. Okay.
I did not need hey, what's going on outside the cube, and maybe it'll loop back around to the first movie in a real stupid way thing.
I think I like Cube Zero because it's been a long time since I saw this.
Yeah.
But I seem to remember it having, like, the first one felt like it was Gilliam adjacent, and I hate to keep referencing the increasingly assholeish guy, but I mean, like, in the Brazil era, it felt like this THX style, Brazil-esque, like, whatever kind of world. Like, you could see, like, something like this happening just from, like, this, the Ministry of Science wonders what happens when you put, humans in the Skinner box. That might kill them, Yeah. And the second one was just like, what if it's an even bigger box? But I felt like the third, like, the prequel one was, like, a return to, like, it felt low budget and gritty again, like the first one.
Sure.
Like, it just felt more in tone aesthetically, like, and I was back on board with that because it was like, what if we just go back to, like, simpler props and things and less, like, shitty CG, and it was like more like, it just felt like, all right, here's the proto version of that. Like, another bad example because I'll just keep doing it, but like, it felt like what George Lucas should have done with the prequels. It was like, you can't have something older than the original trilogy and have everything look new and shiny, and it's like, why? Like, shouldn't have things got better, like, by some measure? I mean, I know, like, shit was terrible and there was a war going on, but, like, it's just like all the things, like, like the prequels are bigger and faster and crazier, and we flip around when we lightsaber fight, whereas the old ones were just like, boom, it's just like, this is a little weird, like, just how shiny it is.
I think maybe my thing was that, so obviously you can't just keep doing these movies without explaining shit. People would get frustrated. But like 2 just kind of touched on the things that were going on, and I was like, okay, that's probably the extent of it that I need. And then Cube Zero was like, here's the whole operation, and I was like, I don't need this. 2, and this is probably a thing that has happened over time, in that Cube Zero is very much about people just watching other people get tortured, and that's infuriating to me right now in 2020. Okay. That is just, I'm just a product of my environment. That is how my opinion is coming across for Cube Zero, which is just like, man, fuck all of you. Like, I don't care that you signed up for this. I don't care that your lives are in danger. If you speak out about it, you shouldn't have done it.
He's just a boy.
So I just was, Cube Zero immediately started, and I was just like, wow, no, don't want this. Not like this. I did kind of appreciate how everything was so grungy. It was almost like wooden cube. It was almost like artisanal cube. So that was kind of okay. But man, there's like this one character that shows up who was just like, if we had been watching it for a Bamcast movie, I think we would have loved this dude. But like watching it on my own, I was just like, man, fuck this guy forever. He's fucking terrible.
Like I said, I mean, that was like early 2000s by the time you get to the sequels, right?
The second one was 2004. The third one was 2006.
Oh wow, that late? Okay, I didn't know they stretched that far. I think
or either 2002, 2004.
Was the first one actually 2000s as well? Like,
no, the first one was 97.
Yeah, I thought that was like a late 90s thing. Okay, so they just took a while to get to their sequels. So
well, no, the first one was just a Canadian thing, an art movie,
Right.
and then Lionsgate bought it and were like, we can franchise this.
Yeah.
So that's what they tried to do, and
That didn't
yeah,
work out so much.
mixed results. But no one talks about Cube anymore, and I just want to say Cube's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, I still fully recommend the first one. I just,
Yeah.
if you know that you're getting some lackluster returns on the sequels. I'm just saying, like, Cube Zero to me felt like, all right, at least this righted the ship, so to speak, as far as where they were going for the second one. And
Sure.
I might watch more. It's nowhere near quality level, It's kind of charming in like some of those latter, Universal Soldier sequels. Like, it's nothing like the fucking original, but it's like there's some dumb fun maybe to be had here.
Right. It's so weird. I confused the sequels with Hellraiser 4 at some point because one, it also has a cube, but because Hellraiser 4 goes to space, obviously, because rule of fours. I thought at some point, maybe it was a poster or something that was misleading, but I swore I could remember that someone opens up, then they escape the cube, and it's like, oh no, we're in space. I don't know what I'm recalling, but that is not anything that happens in any of the Cube movies. So maybe it's a poster. I don't know. But anyway.
No, actually, I'm now starting to remember that maybe there was like a knockoff Cube movie or like something. No, like a similar style, like escape room type, thing before those were a thing. Like another similar, like, oh shit,
Saw.
Yeah, I mean, yes, the Saw movies are kind of that too. I mean,
Yeah.
I just thought I remembered. I think I've seen maybe I did see parts of some Hellraiser or something. I don't know, but
yeah,
whatever.
Hellraiser 4 is in space. There's a big cube in space.
Ooh.
I know. So.
Yeah, you didn't know I saw all the Cube movies, did you?
I did not know. It's not like I was like, hey, I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, probably some people saw the Cube movies. Apparently everyone in chat saw the Cube movies. So you got anything else before I just go on a tear here?
No, not really. I mean,
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I've been bad. I'm either playing video games or still watching shitloads of Craig Ferguson on YouTube.
Those are both valid things to do.
Yeah.
I've only changed up my extracurricular activities recently because it's spooky season. That's the only reason I'm watching more stuff that's worth talking about. So okay, this will be this whole show has been, but might as well just get it's Horror Corner.
Oh.
Okay, so there's a show on the streaming network Shudder that is called Cursed Films.
I actually have seen some of this.
Okay.
Somehow like one or two episodes showed up as free for me on like the Apple TV.
Okay.
So I watched the Poltergeist one and did they do like two did they do a Poltergeist 3 as well?
No, it's
just all Poltergeist stuff?
Yeah.
But I feel like I saw one other one.
Okay. Well, there's 5 episodes.
Okay.
There's The Exorcist, The Omen, Poltergeist, Twilight Zone the movie, and shit, what's the other one I'm forgetting? Hang on.
Didn't bad things happen around American Werewolf in London?
If they did, they don't talk about it.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to think. Like, maybe I'm just thinking of the John Landis thing in general.
The Crow. Shit.
The Crow, of course, yeah.
Crow.
Okay, so I know I didn't see the Crow or the Twilight Zone one because I would have remembered those. I know I saw it was either The Omen or The Exorcist. That's the thing, is like I can't remember.
Okay. So here's the thing. All of these movies in question had troubled productions. They either had legit troubled productions or people started making shit up, which is basically the case of Poltergeist. But like, The Crow, the dude died. Like, so it's varying degrees of something went wrong during the making of this movie. Is the movie cursed? So what they do basically each episode is they run through all of the terrible things that happened during the production of the film. Then they have some people come on and who aren't related to fucking anything. It's just like in the Poltergeist episode, it's just like, hey, here's a guy who went to the Poltergeist house. He's at the Poltergeist house. He's talking to the neighbor who lives next door to the Poltergeist house. Anyway, back to our story. They all have this. They all have this weird, like, in The Exorcist is like, hey, we went to Latin America and found an exorcist, and we were gonna watch him do a exorcism or something, and you know, The Omen is like, hey, here's this guy who calls himself a black magician. He's gonna do some spooky shit. Let's watch it. And it's just like, I will light this candle. Ooh, you know. And it's
Wow,
yeah.
that
So
sounds intense.
it's a waste of time, basically, because then at the end of every episode, someone just comes on and says, "There's no such fucking thing as curses, you dumbasses. Things just happen anyway. Peace out."
Yeah,
It's like that CNN Kennedy assassination documentary. It's just like, here's all the things that could have happened, and then they come back from commercial, and it's like, no, idiots. This is the thing that happened, you dumbasses.
I mean, that Kennedy one is so weird because I mean that one feels like someone ran in the booth during a live broadcast. It was like, "What the fuck are you putting on the screen, Eric? Like, fucking put the last reel on, the right one."
It really does.
Like,
Yeah, but yeah. So these things are such wasted potential to me because in a lot of cases, they have gotten a lot of interviews with people who are legit interesting, have perspective about these movies and stuff, and it's just wasted. It's just, yeah, shit happens, but you know, other movies are cursed too, and that doesn't mean anything. Just shit goes wrong sometimes. What are you gonna do? So it, like, as a premise, it's just like, I I kind of would have appreciated this more if it had just been stupider and we just would have played it up like, could there perhaps be a curse? You know, like a fucking Unsolved Mysteries episode where it's just like,
oh yeah,
call in if you have information on the curse.
could just be a missing child, or it could be the Loch Ness monster. You don't know from week to week
Right.
what you're gonna find here.
Yeah. I would have appreciated that more, I think. Otherwise it's just wasted potential. And
Yeah, that's kind of where I came to it. Like I said, I think I watched the two that were available for free, and I was like, I'm good. I mean,
yeah.
I'd watch the Twilight Zone one maybe because I don't know, like.
Well, okay, so let me just warn everybody. The Twilight Zone one uses the footage
Jesus, yeah.
and just drops it in there without any kind of like, hey, you may want to prepare yourself. No, it's fucking, you watch people get murdered on film. Yeah, and even that is just like, they just cover the trial, and it's like, yeah, maybe somebody was negligent, but oh well, what are you gonna do? It's like, oh, all right, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one's just a huge bummer of an episode. It's just like, well, you know, and it always makes me feel guilty because I like that movie, but I saw that movie before I had any idea of what had happened behind the scenes. I was a fucking child, so
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I remember like the sequence, the girl that could do whatever with her mind, you know, and the terrified family, like that fucking haunted me as a child. Like,
Yeah,
like
well, it's
that
fucking creepy
creepy
as
ass
shit.
Jack in the Box comes out of it and everything, and it's like, Jesus God, no.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that shit's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's I dove in hard on a lot of Shutter material in the last couple of weeks, and that was like the first thing I gravitated to because I was like, I enjoy those films. Tell me more about them. And it was just like, haha, you dumbasses. So I don't quite get the gist of why that was a thing because everything about the show, like the graphics and everything, are all spooky as shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, what narrative are you pushing here? I don't know.
Like that's a weird one because like I mean it's a shame there's like I mean it's weird because like somewhere like Turner Classic Movies or somewhere could have a more generic non genre tinged one of those because I mean there's other not horror movie things, you know.
Well, I mean,
but
the
I just like
Don
it'd be
Quixote
interesting
movie that, you know, what's his name tried to make, that, you know, they made the whole documentary about that. I was like,
Right.
That's a fucking cursed movie. That movie,
Sure.
God said no.
Yeah.
You will not make this.
Yeah,
movie.
or any of the many attempts to make a Don Quixote movie or whatever, you know. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I'm just saying, like you could make a non-horror tinged one, and then you don't have to like have some unnecessary like, but was it ghosts? You know, just like no, let's talk about like what fucking went wrong during the production of this, and like
Yeah.
you know, lessons to be learned, or you know,
Yeah.
slash
The
pay
Poltergeist
maybe
one-
slash maybe pay respects to the people that unfortunate shit happened to, you know, like I mean
Sure.
you could make it reverent and also still talk about the events. There's a way
Right.
to walk a line and have it be, look, you know, here's some shitty things that happen on a film, here's possibly why, maybe learn in the future, don't do that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Poltergeist one, the whole thing about the curse was like, oh, they used real skeletons. That's probably why everyone died. And then finally, after fucking 30 years or whatever, they finally got someone who worked on the film willing to talk about Poltergeist. And he's just like, you can't, no one has time or money to sculpt skeletons by hand. You go down to the medical supply shop and you buy skeletons. That's what they're for. You just have skeletons. It's like, and then there's like, this movie had a skeleton. This movie has it. They just show all these clips like, this movie had a skeleton. You dumbasses. None of those things were cursed. You stupid idiots. Anyway, peace out.
I thought his takeaway at the end was, of course we didn't use real skeletons. No, it was that they actually used real skeleton, but it's no big fucking deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like I said, it's been a couple of months now since that.
Sure.
Yeah, just wandered into my periphery vision, and I was like, I'll check this out.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what else I got here. There is a movie, and I've already forgotten where I saw this. I forget which streaming service this was on. But it's called Into the Grizzly Maze.
Okay.
And I was like, cool, a bear movie. I like bear movies.
Is it a bear movie?
Yes.
Okay. Well, just like, I mean, grizzly doesn't necessarily mean bear.
I know.
Okay.
I know, but this is actually a movie about a killer bear.
It could be trees or atoms, but then it's back to being bear related, I guess.
Yes. Let me tell you the cast of this film: Billy Bob Thornton, Scott Glenn, James Marsden, and Thomas Jane.
Okay.
They're in this direct-to-ass video killer bear movie.
Ass video? Like, what is this? This is the truest Oculus Rift.
It is such a direct-to-video movie. It is just trash. And it's like, how did you lure all of these people to be in this? This is a fucking Fred Olen Ray movie. It's not. I'm just saying it's on that caliber of like, Fred Olen Ray is still making the occasional killer bear movie. Jim Wynorski is occasionally making a killer bear movie. How did Billy Bob Thornton see this and go, I need to be in that?
I think that dude will just work. I mean, he's been in a shit.
He's selective.
Is he? Because I feel like he's in a lot of direct-to-video things I see like pop up. Like I can always tell like the caliber of movie that you're going to have because they've got people that you've heard of. And the poster will be photoshopped to fuck. Like, where it's like, why would you get this person if you're going to put them on the poster and it's airbrushed into unrecognizability, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I just like, if you have a swath of people on your cover photoshopped in from some movie they made 5 to 10 years ago, like,
right.
I could just be like, yeah, I think I know where I'm going with this, and it's straight to Bulgaria.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Not specific. I would have asked the group if there was a group here, but because there's not,
I will be your group.
Okay. Is Thomas Jane a bigger star in my mind than he is in real life? Because I feel like he makes a lot of just hot trash.
We were told around the time that The Punisher came out that Thomas Jane was a big star. He was one of those examples where the world went, no, he's not.
Okay.
Yeah, just like the fucking not Tarzan, the other fucking John Carter guy. No, the John Carter guy. Like for a hot minute, everyone was like, "No, he is the next thing," and then the world went, "No." Like, I got your Friday Night fucking lights right here. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like every once in a while, be it actor or actress, I generally just say actor these days, but I'm saying like the studios get behind this person and they're like, put them on every talk show and everything, and like start like a media blitz on them, and it's just like the world just collectively says no. And Thomas Jane was kind of one of those. Like, okay. So he was like, and not that's not to say he's like in all shit movies. It's just like he's been in good movies.
Boogie Nights, for God's
no. I mean, he's in good movies. It's just like he's also just a working dude. And I mean, he kind of took the piss out of himself with his was that Arrested Development he showed up on? Yeah, where he was just like playing a homeless guy, but it was like, I think I recognize you. Like that was all very meta, like because that was like post the like you're gonna like Thomas Jane, and it's like, and then the world kind of went, no, we really don't give a shit. Like, you're fine, but you know, like I'm not going to go to a movie because Thomas Jane's in it. Kind of
right?
Not that guy.
I don't have anything against him. It's just that I keep seeing him turn up in things that seem suspect, and I'm like, am I wrong? Like I consider him to be a movie star, but apparently I'm wrong. He is just a dude who
He
works.
was going to be a movie star, and
Okay.
yeah, we all collectively said no. You can
All
be an
right.
actor, but you can't be a movie star.
Okay.
That's the
So
difference.
so kind of like Army Hammer until recently to when we were like, "Hey, Army Hammer's pretty good."
Yeah, but I still like Army Hammer's weird. Like Army Hammer's
He is
really
weird.
weird. But no, I'm saying like Oscar talk for we thought there was two Army Hammers in the Social Network to like fucking like fuck your Lone Ranger Army Hammer. We don't want that shit. And to like oh I don't know Oscar Buzz call me by your name Army Hammer. Like and it's like do we like him or not? Like can we just decide? Like
All I know is that he's amazing and Sorry to Bother You.
yeah,
Like,
I
he
mean,
is fucking amazing. In
I
that.
am fine with Army Hammer. Again, this is I just can't decide if he's a movie star or not. That's the thing. Like he's obviously an actor. Yeah, like
But
it's just
good point.
yeah. The thing is like that's the thing is like sometimes Hollywood can't decide who their movie stars are because they're like Army Hammer movie and everyone's like who fucking cares? Like is it good? Like he's not enough to just make me go to the movies. Like you can't say Tom Hanks movie and you're like I don't know what it's about. Let's go.
Right.
Like, yeah.
It's like when I see Sam Worthington above the title, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah.
So,
Is it worth my time? I don't know.
okay. I watched another movie called Patient Zero.
Okay.
Patient Zero stars Matt Smith from Doctor Who fame.
I yes, and a Terminator movie.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. He's in the background dancing around for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. He first of all he's playing an American, so he has an American accent.
Texas or New York?
New York.
Okay.
He's for some reason Giovanni Ribisi was his vocal coach, is what it sounds like, because he is. You close your eyes and it's like, oh, Giovanni Ribisi's in this movie.
Okay.
It's kind of a well, it's a zombie thing. There's a virus pandemic that has turned everyone into angry rage monsters. He has been bitten but didn't turn, so he can talk to the zombies.
Is this I Am Legend again?
It really gets into I Am Legend territory.
Okay.
Because so like they're trying to find patient zero so that they can make a vaccine. I don't understand why they don't make it from him, since he's obviously immune to being bitten. I would think he would be the key, but what the fuck do I know about medicine? So they just keep catching dudes, and
You have to call the Who doctor, not the Doctor Who, if you
exactly.
want to
So
understand that. Yeah.
they send him into cages to talk to them, and they keep trying to find out where the thing started, and then they catch Stanley Tucci, who is an angry virus zombie. Except when they catch him, he sits down and he's proper normal dude zombie, and he's a fancy lad, and he's he's an advanced zombie of some kind, and things get weird from there. But it's man, I never thought Stanley Tucci would be a big buff angry zombie in a movie, so that's really strange.
Yes. Go on.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not a great film. It really gets bad in the third act, but it certainly. Okay, I'm going to say this. I don't remember what the actual ending to I Am Legend is versus the one that came out on DVD when they were like, an explosive new ending. I don't remember which ending is which anymore, but one of those endings is this movie. It's the same fucking thing.
I think we can spoil the plot of I Am Legend, considering it's
Okay.
been made 87 times over the
Sure.
last 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, people were the real monsters all along. Like, that was, like, an evolution thing, and we should have just, like, stopped killing them.
Right.
That's
Like,
basically the ending.
The evil rage zombies were like, look, dude, we evolved. You didn't.
Yeah, you just didn't
you're the
understand us
worst."
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So, in that regard, it's a super weird ripoff. On the other hand, there's a whole bunch of Game of Thrones people in this, and Matt Smith, and it's weird.
I mean, I want to see Stanley Tucci zombie. I'm not going to lie.
You really should.
Yeah.
It's worth it for that. He doesn't show up until about 45, 50 minutes into it, but it's like, you just figure like Stanley Tucci is going to be like some scientist guy, but no,
Mm.
he's super angry zombie guy who becomes super normal zombie guy, um, smoking a cigarette, having conversations about music. It's weird. It's a weird thing. It's such a weird thing. It just peters out at the end. So,
Hmm.
um,
I've I've
let's see.
I've seen Stanley Tucci recently, and I went in search of trying to watch another movie that has Stanley Tucci in it, but I was unsuccessful because I didn't find it on one of the streaming services. So I
Did
haven't.
you try to watch Big Night?
No, I've seen Big Night. I love Big Night.
Okay.
No, watching the fucking Julia Child movie with Meryl Streep, I realized that was not the first time the two of them and Stanley Tucci and Meryl Streep had been in a movie together. And I was like, I should watch The Devil Wears Prada. I never saw
Oh
that.
right, yeah.
So I like some of the people that are in that. And it doesn't seem like a movie that is going to be in my wheelhouse, but sometimes you never know. Like, I shouldn't like Bring It On, but I do. like, you told me it was like competing, cheerleading competition movie. I'd be like, yeah, no, now I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Um, hmm. A couple of other random things. A movie called Red Lights with Sigourney Weaver, Robert De Niro. It's kind of like Now You See Me, but stupid. Uh,
Okay.
uh, she goes around debunking psychics, and Robert De Niro purports to be a super. I'm a showman psychic. Come at me, bro. I will fucking wreck you. Uh, Cillian Murphy's in it. Uh, the box says the quote on the box says this year's Sixth Sense, which refers to a twist at the end where you're just like, what?
Hmm. I love those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not really good. There's a movie called Six Souls with Julianne Moore, which strangely is almost a Pumpkinhead movie, because it deals with going into the holler and talking to the witch and getting some curses and doing some weird spooky shit like that. It's just one of those movies, like one of those Sandra Bullock, uh, like Premonition or whatever that other Julianne Moore movie is, where someone just gets ripped out of the off the ground into the sky or whatever. It's just like there's a psychiatrist and it's like, well, this case is weird. Let me investigate further. Oh no, it's a spooky case. I'm gonna have to go down this rabbit hole and find out some spooky things about myself and spooky things.
Hmm. Oh
So,
no, spooky things.
yeah. Um, there's just a lot of there are more of these than I realized. Just movies out there with like one or two huge actors in them, just doing a horror movie. Just like gonna go do this horror movie. I guess
Yeah.
they're not very good.
No. I mean, that's the thing is like, I know our very mission statement with the Bamfcast is find the gems in the pile of trash. Like
Mm-hmm,
these things,
mm-hmm.
these long forgotten things. But like when it comes to these, most any movie made after like DVD became a viable market, like and I say that mean because like there was a certain stigma to like direct to video things in the VHS era. I mean, that
Right.
kind of said like this is actually garbage. Like the things that we're looking through and going, no, wait,
Yeah.
But like in the era of DVD when they're like, we can make a disc and give it to you, and it's going to be as good a quality picture as you would get to going to the movie theater. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's basically 1-to-1. It's just this isn't going to be big enough to sell out more than a couple screens and a couple of select places. If we could get all the few interested people together, it's just not going to do that well. And it's like
Right.
the quantity of movies that has just come out since around like 97 era when like people are like, oh, DVD, like this is a thing,
Yeah.
like and
Yeah.
it's just insane. And
Yeah. It's like 97 to 2004. There was this big boon of just movies with people in them that aren't like grandiose, but kind of good enough. They're not embarrassing. They're not filmed in Bulgaria. They're real movies. They were just like, and we put it on a DVD to go in the shelf at Blockbuster. So,
I just think about like I can't even recall like half the titles of them because they're so utterly
sure.
forgettable. But I mean, it was like there was a streak there where it was like, all right, who's our like possibly slightly more than just a pretty face like actress of the era, from like the 25 to 40-year-old range,
Mm-hmm.
and like, it was like Jennifer Connelly and like, Liv Tyler and all these people. It was just like week after week, it was like, here's the next like movie that they're in that were spooky things,
Right.
and it was just like it was constant. Like every other week, it was like, wow, here comes like Jessica Biel in this thing, and here comes
Yep.
Jessica Alba in this thing, and here it's
Right.
just like, what the
Yeah, it was
fuck,
like
like
The Eye and
yeah.
Blackwater
Right.
and
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like it was like this long stretch there where it's just like, is this the one? It's like kind of missing the whole point. Like, I mean, it's like it's the typical Hollywood thing of like, I think they saw like The Ring and they were like, well, Naomi Watts is pretty,
yeah.
and
It was The Ring and The Grudge that did it.
yeah,
It
and
was
they're
just
like,
like
Naomi Watts is
keep
pretty.
making those.
What if we got more pretty girls and had spooky things happen? Like, it just it was like a weird reverse thing from like the 70s era where, yes, I mean, there's the subversive thing about the final girl like generally being the survivor in all the horror movies, whereas like in the 70s it was like, no, just like this is some weird perverted like let's watch ladies get murdered stuff, like,
Yeah.
a lot of the slasher movies. But like, and then it was just like this weird swing where it's like female led horror movies just for like this long time. And like I said, no problem with the gender of your
Mm-hmm.
protagonist. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, it was a weird long thing where there was all this stretch of like mediocre horror movies where their entire thing was like, get one well known actress,
Yeah. It
put
was a
them in
very specific
yeah,
thing.
put them in a spooky place that's like probably in the holler, so it's like low budget,
Yeah.
like it's just like we won't be in the city because we don't have the funds to crowd control that, like, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
that's
know,
what
it's
those
just
two
weird.
movies are. So
Yeah. But yeah, every once in a while you come across something good. I
yeah.
mean, every once in a while, but like,
That's why I keep looking.
I mean, I generally, you can go just as easily wrong, but like, I tend not to follow people. I like actors are actors and they can be good, obviously, but I just don't think like I don't. It's sort of like this goes back to the movie star thing. Like, I just won't go see most movies because of an actor. Like, it has to be like they have to be like they either they get the reputation in my head of like, oh no, they're picking like good directors and good screenwriters and good things. Like, I trust them because of their track record of like what they've done. I will
Mm-hmm.
get that somewhat, but I mean, like, I'm kind of more interested in like, okay, why did this guy who was like a badass director in the 80s suddenly start making direct to video things in the late 90s, 2000s? Like, you know, whatever you may think, but like there was a period of time where like Polanski, a guy arguably a shithead of a person, but I'm saying like it was once like one of the biggest named directors you can get, and it was like suddenly he was just like cranking out, things that'd be in a theater for a week and then they were on DVD, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
how does a guy go from like, Hitchcock level, like I will sell out a movie theater because I made this movie, to like suddenly sometime later, something like that. I mean, like I said, maybe a horrible example of person, just a person that popped in my head. I think it's because you mentioned Sigourney Weaver, and for some reason I was thinking of Death and the Maiden. That's a real cheer fest of
That
a movie.
that's a fun
Yeah,
film.
but yeah, I was just like, like it's more weird to me, like to see something like a director who's suddenly like cranking out a movie, because at least like, well, they were talented. Do they still care? Like,
Right.
let's see if they're bringing any of their flair to it.
Well, and the saddest thing now is when you see directors that were doing movies that you loved and now they just direct episodes of Hawaii 5-0. Like, they get into that TV show
Oh,
grind,
sure, yeah.
and it's like they never get out.
I mean, I honestly, I'd rather they do that than like try to keep banking on their name in the
Sure.
movie world, because like if your goal is like to get paid and have a regular job, I no problem with that. Just like, don't keep foisting your name upon something when you're just gonna be like, ugh, fine, cut, print, it's fine. Like,
Right.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, but it was out of
It's just
focus. Like, doesn't matter. It's fucking direct to video. Like, if you're gonna care, just fucking crank out TV shows.
yeah. It's just funny to me when I'm watching a show and I see a name pop up and I'm like, wait, the director of that thing that I loved from like 1992? What the shit? And then
These
I
thi-
go look it up and it's like, oh yeah, for the last 8 years they've directed 97 episodes of television.
But yeah, I mean, the even weirder thing is like the number of actors that have turned director and just do nothing but TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jonathan Frakes, for
Yep.
my Star Trek background, it's like fucking like directed like an episode of like almost every television show that's been on for the last 20 years. Like it's just like that dude just fucking like show up and direct anything. And which one? It's like Starsky or Hutch, one of the two. It's like TV guy too, like TV director extraordinary guy.
I'm watching The Blacklist and Andrew McCarthy is directing episodes and I'm like, wait, hold on. First of all, I need a mannequin reunion on screen. Don't just jump to direct. You're supposed to do your guest spot first and make people go, oh yeah, and then you could just go behind the scenes. But yeah, it's.
Wait, is the other mannequin guy on the Blacklist, or are you just talking about his James Spader? Well, who was he? Was he the other guy in Mannequin? Wait,
yeah.
Oh my God, I'm confusing the cast. No, I'm just like I know James Spader was in a shitload of like '80s things and stuff, but I mean like. I think I'm just like I'm mixing up the whatever the fuck is nuts from Weekend at Bernie's. I always like. For some reason, I thought that guy was in fucking Mannequin as well.
No. Jonathan Silverman? No.
Okay. You can see how long it's been since I saw fucking Mannequin.
Yeah, no. Andrew McCarthy's the lead in Mannequin, and James Spader is the foil.
Okay.
He's the evil hair slick back store manager who's like, you're up to something.
But it's also got the dude from Designing Women, too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Meshack Taylor. Why do I remember his name? I don't know. Because that's a fucking great name. It's
yeah. Yes, he's the only one who comes back for Mannequin 2 on the move.
Ooh. Oh, he's the Fisher Stevens of Mannequin 2. Okay.
Exactly.
I got you. Now, see, I have to understand all of these 80s references that we are both on board for, and half the other audience is going, what?
They should have just made an unnamed third movie that's just Meshack Taylor and Fisher Stevens.
where Johnny Five falls in love with the mannequin.
Yeah.
Like, I finally know what love is. Yay. And yeah.
This is like a sketch on The Critic.
Yeah. I feel like we could get Ali Sheedy back for that one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Unless she's a director now.
Well, she probably is. I'm just saying, like, no, I'm saying, like, in the time frame where this would have been a viable thing, the Short Circuit Mannequin crossover movie, in like the, let's say, 95 era.
Okay.
I'm thinking that's when we could have gotten this to slide. I think by 95 we could have gotten Ali Sheedy back.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
And then after that, no.
Yeah. Even maybe Gutenberg. I don't know. I don't want to press my luck, but
Gutenberg's weird, man. I
Yeah.
saw some weird shit about him on Twitter the other day where someone was trying, like a legit like outlet was trying to talk to him about Cocoon because Wilford Brimley passed away, and he was like, I don't talk about my previous films or some dumb bullshit. I'm like, okay, who the fuck do you think you are, Steve Gutenberg? You should be doing nothing but talking about your previous
product
films.
of the Stonecutters. Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
that's who he probably thinks he should be. Yeah.
You probably took that shit to heart.
Yeah.
He was like, wait, they
I'm a
didn't
star?
make me, they made me.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I was assuming that was the first time he ever heard he was a star. Was that song in The Simpsons? And it just went to his head. Yeah. I just thought of myself as a working actor, but The Simpsons told me I was a movie star. I'm the Armie Hammer of the 80s.
yes.
That's Steve Gutenberg. He has it like in Old English italic on a tattoo on his back, I think. I was the Armie Hammer of the 80s. Yeah.
Yes. It's his entire back.
Yeah.
He's like Cape Fear back there.
What the fuck are we even talking about? Are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay. When it's devolved into Goot talk.
Fucking talking about the goot.
Just, hey, what's the Goot up to lately? I don't know. Let's check in on the Goot.
Being fucking weird on Twitter. Not in the way other people are being weird on Twitter. Just weird in the goot way.
Like, I hate that, like, my brain immediately, like, I mean, this just sucks. I mean, it sucks on, like, all dimensions. But my brain was immediately like, oh, fuck. I can't be bothered to keep up with it all. Is Steve Gutenberg a raging fucking asshole now? Like, I shouldn't have mentioned Roman Polanski. I am aware of that one. That's on me. But then, like I just said, like, it's in that era where I was just like, I have no fucking idea what Steve Gutenberg's up to. Did he just fucking turn into a psychopath? Like, I don't know. Like, it's sad because you have to kind of assume that. Like, if you haven't heard from a celebrity in a while, they've probably gone wacky.
Well, he's on that religious movie circuit where he's in all of the, like, God's not dead.
Sure. I'm not defending or really even caring what Steve Gutenberg's up to. I just, like I said, I hate that we're in this era of, like, I literally can't talk about some wacky celebrity because, like, next thing you know, it's like, oh, we were talking about fucking Gallagher, and someone was like, you don't want to fucking know anything about Gallagher anymore. And I'm like, okay, last I knew he was smashing fucking pumpkins on stage. Like, I didn't fucking know what he was up to for the last 20 goddamn years.
Nope, he's out there painting Obama faces on the watermelons.
Again, I don't. Like,
he's out there being
I can't believe.
terrible.
No, I'm saying, like, look, people could be like, celebrities could be shitty. It's just, it shouldn't be on me to keep a fucking running tally
Right.
of like knowing what the fuck like Guy Hamilton's up to these days. He might be fucking dead for all I know. I'm just saying.
I believe Guy Hamilton.
Okay, well, you know what I'm saying. Like, I pick some random fucking person that you haven't thought of in 20 to 30 years.
Did you mean George Hamilton?
Maybe George Hamilton. Fine, George Hamilton too. Any Hamilton will do.
It's like the director of Goldfinger. I think he's probably okay.
Yes, I meant George Hamilton. He's a guy. He's also a Hamilton. So it's I mean the cast of Hamilton. I'm so confused. Like, I really don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Yeah, that checks out.
No, I just, like I said, it's like we're just in this era, and like I said, I'm trying my goddamn best to like understand and be aware, like not make jokes at victims' expense and things like that, and not downplay or apologize for somebody that I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I mentioned fucking Steve Gutenberg out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh fuck, like I haven't heard from Steve Gutenberg in a real long time. He's probably shitty, and I probably just almost like.
Look,
Did you know what Steve Gutenberg's been up to? I'm like, I didn't fucking know or care, really.
So I also have the same problem.
Okay.
It is hard to keep this shit straight.
Sure.
Here's how you deal with it.
Yep.
If someone comes at you and says, hey, bro, you shouldn't make light of Steve Gutenberg. He's a fucking monster. You just say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Instead of doubling down and go, well, fuck you. I'm going to talk about
Right.
the Goot. I'm starting my Goot cast. And
Look.
my shirt says, rip your shirt off.
Yes.
It's Goots on it.
All I'm saying is, like, everybody, and this is not a both sides are fine argument. I'm saying everybody needs to chill the fuck out. Like, even people that are trying to change aren't necessarily there yet. So, like, as long as people aren't being actively shitty, I'm just saying, like, slow your roll on, like, correcting them. Like, that goes for gender pronouns or whatever. Like, people fuck up. You know, like, I'm just saying, like, slow your roll and, like, save the outrage for people who are being outwardly shitty. Please don't bite the heads off of people who are, like, giving it an earnest try is all.
Right.
Is all. Like, I'm just like,
the
like,
problem
please
with
don't
that is
attack
that-
me for not knowing what Steve Gutenberg's been up to for the last 20 years. Like, I
think
didn't
we're
know.
okay with the Goot.
Okay.
I think he's just a little wacky.
Sure, sure. I mean,
yeah,
Ali Sheedy could be
people
fucking
like
nuts.
us are
I'm
in the
not. I'm not.
minority.
There's no genders. Like, Ali Sheedy could be fucking crazy and murdering people for all I know. I don't know what she's up to. Like, I don't know. Again, she may be fine. She may be perfectly normal. I'm just saying, I'm not aware of Ali Sheedy's whereabouts for some time, and
That's okay.
yeah. So if I mention somebody and it turns out they're problematic, please just let me know normally.
Good advice.
Again, I am owning that I mentioned Roman Polanski. Believe me.
Oh, yeah. We know that guy's a shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yes.
It's just weird that all of a sudden his movies were going straight to video.
That was my point. Like I said,
Yeah.
you know, like, big deal, like, you know, name dropped Manson trial, you know, all that, like, kind of a big deal at one point in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
I'm off my soapbox. I want to be nice. Just be nice when people are trying to be nice. Just
Yeah.
bring more niceness into the world. That's my message for you. That's what I really want to break down.
and be nice by going to bmfcast.com.
Yeah, that would be nice. There's
It's
a
our
website there. Yeah.
You can get all our shows there. All our links are there. All the information you need to know about us is there. It's nice.
It is nice. I mean, it's all right. I mean, the website could be nicer, but it is friendly. It's a friendly
nice
website.
for something we made 10 years ago.
Yes,
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah,
It functions. It's fine.
it does. It serves up podcasts. Just fine.
Speaking of, we are now on the Amazon Music app. That's a thing that started like, hey, maybe you want to get your podcasts here. So we were like, sign up for that. And apparently they're like, okay. So if you're using the Amazon Music app for your podcasts, you can listen to us there.
Did we end up on Spotify ever?
We are on Spotify.
Okay.
We are pretty much everywhere as far as I can tell. So
Super duper.
if there's somewhere that you listen to podcasts that we are not on, just let us know. It's not hard to sign up usually, but I think we've got all the bases covered as far as I know.
Yeah, and also to that point, we don't. Sorry. Woo! Sorry, too much Coca-Cola. I don't normally like get into like technical help, but I was going to mention that like among our sidebar where the buttons are, the funky little wavy lines is becoming an increasingly not known symbol. But I assume if you're on a podcast app that is a little outside the normal ones, that is an RSS feed. I would think almost any podcast app you can plug that into.
Yes.
So you could copy paste that and into your podcast app of choice, and then suddenly, boom, we're there. But
correct.
Just throwing that out there. Like RSS is still a thing from the glory days of the internet.
Yeah, back when we had to actually, type a bunch of random letters to make.
Well, back to when like
go.
Podcasts were only served that way until all the companies were like, "What if we can make money off these people's work?"
And should we pay them for their products?
No.
Good idea, sir.
Excellent. That was Jeff Bezos, of course. I don't know if I do uncanny impressions. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you want to pay us for our work though directly, you can go to a website that pays that you pay and then they pay us. You can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/bmfcast. Bonus episodes. If you like what you're hearing right now, me and this other guy just talking the shit about stupid things, you're gonna love Bamcast Extra because that's what that is.
It sure is. I like it when you kind of went into ShamWow voice there, guy, for a minute. Like, hey, follow me. Follow me, patrons. Yeah, you follow me? Come over here. Come over to patreon.com. That guy's probably a shithead, too. From Chad or whatever from ShamWow.
The ShamWow guy is a shithead.
Cool. Great. Oh, like, this has been the Problematic Cast with Chuck and Harlow. But no, over on we have Patreon. And we have Bamcast Extra. We have Doctor Who U. Sometimes there are other things as we have time to do them.
There's an archive of so much stuff.
Yeah, there are things for your money. You're not just... You're giving us money out of the kindness of your heart, but we are giving you things in return, so...
Yes, from the kindness of our voice.
It's it's basic capitalism, really. I mean, yeah, it's the thing we've decided to embrace.
Correct.
For now.
Yes. Yeah. Money in exchange for goods and services.
Yeah,
it is the way to go.
We're trying out, giving it a go. College try.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So, if you want to get in touch with us, like all that stuff's on the website, bmfcast.com. All the buttons, all the ways you can Twitter, email, phone calls, shirt buying.
Phone calls, you say? Would people do that at 910-5JOCKS-BMF? I think that's 910-556-9263.
Correct.
We just usually plug the Garfield phone on its own,
As you should.
There are emails and stuff, but yeah,
you can call that phone number. We won't pick up, but you can leave us a voicemail, and we will play it on the show.
Maybe. I mean,
if it's good,
we reserve the right to editorialize and not play it, but we will probably listen to
playing 99% of voicemails.
Usually,
generally, people who call in have a plan.
Yeah,
it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. There is a time limit on the message, so it kind of keeps you from rambling for too long.
But sometimes the most entertaining calls are when people call back and go, I was cut off. Yeah. I'm back.
Hey, I'm sorry. I think your machine cut me off. Anyway, what I was saying is I really love you, and I think we should be together forever. And shit. Sorry if that last message sounded weird and desperate, but...
Yes, you can have all kinds of retro fun.
Never done that. I don't know. It's just movie jokes.
Just call Garfield.
Call Garfield,
please.
Yeah.
He misses human interaction.
He does, yeah.
So, I believe that's going to be it.
I think it will, yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Let's get out of here, shall we?
Let's.
Everybody says yes. Okay. I'm Harlow.
I'm Chuck.
And this is Bamfcast out. I didn't remember my where we wanted to go. It's preposition.
Geronimo.
Yeah. I was like, this is Bamfcast. Where do we go? In,
out.
Over, out. Over and out. We can do both.
Cool.
We got both kinds of music, country and western. All of the lines of that fucking movie, and why is that the one I probably say the most?
Because it's a great line.
Like, I've seen the Blues Brothers so many times, and that's the one I go to.
All right. That's another variety hour. in the can. Did you pre-order your PS5?
Can we? I don't know.
Yeah, you should get in the Discord. They've been throwing links all night, all the different retailers. I bought one.
Of course you did.
Couldn't resist.
Of course you couldn't.
I actually bought it in case I can't get an Xbox. I'd use it as trade bait because I know people are going to want that PlayStation.
That's smart. Smart.
I'm a thinker.
Yeah.
I also got to thinking, you know what? Nothing matters anymore. I should just spend all my money. Why should I wait for a year or half a year to buy a PlayStation when I could buy one right now? What's the point of waiting?
I'm semi on board with that, but not completely. I'm sorry. I can't fully condone that or get behind that or say, carpe diem.
Right.
I couldn't remember my preposition. It's not a preposition.
I just figured our November trip is not a thing, so might as well just fucking live it up at home with a new weird pedals opening up PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that's
I know you hate it.
I do. I really fucking hate it. Like
I know.
Like that watching that live stream when they kept showing it, I was like, stop fucking showing it. Like, you're talking me out of it. I fucking hate it.
It's all right.
I mean, it's fine. I already said I'm gonna wait, so I'm gonna let whatever this. I'm not gonna pre-order it. I'm just gonna let the
Chips
chips
fall. Where they may.
Yeah, the
Okay.
silicon chips fall where they may. I mean, when it's like I don't have to pay any extra or buy a bundle or when it's just available. And hopefully, I'm just not going to jump on this pre-order because they're like, here's the price and the date, go. I need a little more information. I want actual proper written confirmation that it's the same fucking specs top to bottom minus a disk drive. I just don't want it to be like, oh, it's only got a 200 gig stick in it. Well, good luck.
It does seem strange that they didn't release specs for the smaller one. And
well, they were like, yeah, here's the thing. This is the first time we're mentioning price, and it's like, fucking go now. And it's like, please, I would like to make sure before I'm on board with this.
Yeah, that did seem weird.
Well, I want to see the controller is the big thing because I can't fucking skin that. And if I have to look at that piece of shit controller, I'm not going to do it. Just give me some of the other solid color option and I will buy it because, as you said, I will skin the console. I will get something and I will make it.
You can use a PS4 controller on it, so.
I didn't think you could. I thought only for PS4 games. I don't think you can use PS4 controllers for PS5 games.
You can get a Mad Catz controller. Get a clear, so you can see them guts.
No.
Come on.
I'm not as anti Mad Catz as I once was.
I was gonna say I don't think Mad Catz even exists anymore.
Okay, well, fine. That could be why I don't care about them. But no, no. I actually think they did make a couple of good accessories.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were known originally for here's the hot bullshit with the clicky clunky buttons and stuff like that. But they did make some high end equipment. I think before they went away, if they went away.
They did. They did because Rock Band bankrupted them because they went all in on Rock Band 4, and then they were like, "Oh shit, we made all these guitars and no one wants them."
See, that seems weird that it would affect the peripheral company. You would seem it seems like the deal would have been we are making these for your game, and if your game doesn't sell, it's on fucking you.
Hey man, Trump's lawyer went to jail, so.
But you see what I'm saying?
For doing the shit that Trump told him to do, it doesn't make sense.
Well, but you see what I'm saying?
No,
it seems like the partnership would be hey, we are going to pay you to make these plastic instruments for our game. Okay, pay us for the instruments. Oh, sorry, it didn't sell. That's on you. That seems like a real risky thing to be we have no control over the making of this game. We're just making the plastic thing.
Right.
And, we're splitting the cost of development or, that seems weird.
They must have made some horrible deal.
Probably.
But yeah.
They're Mad Cats.
Yeah, that's probably what the problem was.
They're spending mad money.
We don't care. We're Mad Cats.
We don't make it rain because we're cats. We fucking hate water. But we're bad with money.
Good point.
Oh, what the fuck is wrong with me?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Right.
Send me files.
Okay.
Are we still on the internet?
Yes.
Okay.
This is
Bye,
all for
internet.
you, internet.
Say goodbye, internet.
Goodbye, internet.
There you go. All right.